All right, should be going live right now. Make sure I got everything pulled up. Trying to do this from the laptop for you guys, so just gotta make sure I got everything right. Making sure I got everything right. Boom, boom, boom. All right, boom, there we go. There we go. All right, we are live. We are live. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS. Gonna do, of course, another slate breakdown. Going over the 4-game slates we got starting in a couple of hours for you guys. The playoffs, man, they're here. They're back. Like I said, it's gonna be pretty spotty with me being able to get some of the stuff out, but you know, you guys know I love ball. So any chance I get actually be able to go over this stuff, I'm gonna do my best, go over it. If you guys got anything for me, comments or whatnot, just let me know. I'm gonna be bouncing in between the comment section. Between the comment section, of course, just being able to go over stuff. Of course, focusing on DraftKings, going over what we got over here for DraftKings. Decent 100K up top, $20 entry. Make sure I got this right. Yeah, $20 entry for it. Your boy's still not in his office and everything, but I'm gonna make it work using this this laptop setup and everything, and we're gonna get through it and whatnot. But quick recap for yesterday. Wasn't able to get out a video or anything like that, but I did go ahead and post a pretty much, you know, went ahead and I posted the player pool that I was going to focus on for the 4 games, broke down for the players that I really did like. Unfortunately, as you guys can see in the core, Bobby Portis, Bobby P, and honestly, the Milwaukee Bucks did not come to play at all whatsoever. They completely messed it up for me and did not get there. On top of not even just them, but freaking Jalen Duren, of course, got himself in foul trouble. I was a little risky with it, with the take in regards to he was gonna actually be fine and not get himself in foul trouble, be able to help out there. He didn't do that for me, so it is what it is. But I'm not gonna fret too much. Of course, had a pretty banger day on Friday to end out the play-in tournaments, hoping to keep this momentum rolling. Of course, you know, bankroll management, all that good stuff, as you guys can see. Not a bad day. Hoping to repeat it because you guys already know my OKC Thunder, my Thunder are playing today. Game 1 going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. Can't wait to go ahead and get into that for that right there. But needless to say, hey, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna break this down, going like how I normally do. Of course, you guys know I like to look at the injury reports and stuff like that. Typically, everyone should be pretty healthy all this time that they've had off. What up, Don? Don, I hope that you was able to make some money the other night. With all the stuff that we were going over, things like that. Definitely hope you were able to make some, because a lot of the stuff that we was going over, some of that stuff did come to fruition. It really did. But looking at the injury report, Memphis taking on OKC. Memphis, no news really over there. John Morant not under injury report, looked very good. And honestly, if I was not scared of that ankle injury, and I would have played Ja over the pivot that I made, which was playing Tyler Hero over playing Trae Young. And of course, Tyler Hero did come in lower owned, and I like the play. I'm not even gonna lie. OT definitely helped us get there, but taking Hero and Okongwu from that game definitely paid dividends. And then of course, Caris LeVert with the bounce back was awesome right there in that game. But Memphis, they're looking good, looking fine. I don't see anybody over here on the injury report that matters for them. Same thing for OKC. All the time that they've had off, the only thing we got to worry about for the Thunder is them coming in with some rust from all the time they've had off. Orlando, no news. Boston, no news. Some good, clean injury report stuff that we like to see over there for them. Miami Heat taking on Cleveland, who are the first 10 seed to make it into the playoffs, pretty much. They made history, but they almost didn't, because the Hawks, they fumbled that, man. They fumbled that bad. But no news over here to really report for them. Same thing for Cleveland. All good injury reports over there for them. Same thing for Golden State and Houston Rockets. We don't have to worry about anything from any of these teams right now as it states. Really, the only thing we got to pay attention to is some the starting lineups. See if maybe they might change something up, decide that they want to start, sit someone, things like that. But of course, we all know game 1s are typically like the feel it out game. The game of like, okay, hey, this is our plan of attack, not going to show the whole full hand, things like that. Teams like the Thunder, I honestly feel like us going up against Memphis, it's going to be a normal a normal game for us. You know, like we're gonna go out there, we're gonna do our shit like what we normally do, and it's gonna be what it is. Of course, you guys know. I'm gonna root for the home team. OKC, man, we got this dub. We about to get the dub, man. We about to. But head on over to DraftKings, and I miss being able to do this. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're just stumbling across the stream right here. But if you are subscribed, push it out. Share the live for anyone else looking for some good NBA content for the playoffs going on. I know we got baseball and everyone's flocking towards that and stuff like that, but NBA, man, it starts early and I love it. You get to watch it all day. But starting out, looking over here on the Memphis Grizzlies side of things, like I said, with Ja being back, Ja's back, look good to go. I fully would expect for him, of course, to be out here once again. We should still see a tight rotation like what they were showing us in these first couple of games during their whole play-in run that they had. The main focus is going to be, of course, John Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey. The coach trusts him as long as he's out there, and he's doing pretty good, not getting himself into too much foul trouble and things of that nature. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. rounds out the starting lineup over there for them. Santi Aldama has been playing mega minutes, a lot of minutes off of the bench for them, which is really great to see. Definitely let us know that we have some type of consistency over here with the Grizzlies in regards to what they're doing with the rotations and stuff. And I would imagine that we're still going to have to see Santi, even though the Thunder can go small. And if they do go small, Santi would be one of those plays I would expect to still see 25-ish minutes because he is more agile than on what Zach Edey will be able to bring for us out here in this. So I still would imagine that we should see a decent minutes out of him. Outside of Santi getting upwards into the 25 minutes, John Conchar is the only other player over here for Memphis that we've seen so far that has gotten a decent run into the 20s. Next up would have been Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley, I would be floored if they decide that they really need to run Marvin in this game. So Conchard and Santi would be the main two if you're looking for like bench players over here from Memphis that you want to attack. Now, when it comes down to looking at their studs, their main guys that they have over here, I kind of like the value over here. I don't necessarily see myself trying to get up to like the Desmond Bane, the Jaren Jackson Jr., the John Morant, because all of them, they're going to have decent defensive matchups that I can see in my eyes. Ja, of course, we know best player over there for Memphis. He is going to be dealing with the Lou Dort defense right there. Dort is going to spend the majority of his time running around chasing Ja. The physical style of play that he plays, as long as he keeps himself out of foul trouble, he'll be good out there on Ja. Desmond Bane, with him actually playing into that 3 spot, I would imagine he should be seeing Jalen Williams, who is a bigger, lankier. Of course, he typically would be the 4, but he can definitely defend decently in regards to some of those twitchy guards and things of that nature. And of course, we know Bane likes to get out there for that 3-point line. Very, very much Lou Dort built-esque. Right there, but I do like the matchup that he's going to have going up against Jalen Williams. I think that should be a decent spot for him defensively. Honestly, he hasn't given us like a really big pop game versus the Thunder. One game where he dropped 42 fantasy points going up against us. That was it. I'm pretty sure Ja more than likely had missed that game too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he actually did. But outside of that, and then of course Jaren Jackson Jr., that will be the Chet Holmgren matchup. That right there is going to be who does not foul out first, who doesn't pick up enough ticky-tacky fouls are right there. With the big lineup, with the bigs, at least Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey, I imagine the Thunder will run their Hartenstein and Chet combo to start the game. I would imagine. Of course, this is where starting lineups are going to matter because they could decide that they're not going to start Hartenstein, let Hartenstein come off the bench, and instead you start Chet and you let Chet go up against Edey, who is not a bad matchup either way when it comes down to it right there. So, like I said, I'm really not too interested in the main studs over here in Morant, Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. You can definitely go to them for a GPP option. If, of course, you got to rank them, it would be Ja up at the top. Ja, driving point, I mean, the athleticism, everything. He's going to come. He's going to want to play. This is OKC playoff crowd is completely different than anything that I promise you guys will ever see. It's going to be whited out in that arena. Like it's going to look like a college game with the way that the Thunder come driving force, bro. Like it's crazy, and that's why I love my team. I love my team so much with that everything that we bring. But Ja would be like the main driving force GPP option that I would take if you are trying to play one of these 3 studs. When it comes down to it, I want to kind of just get to the mentor options. I like Zach Edey. I think that with what he's shown us and the rebounding lapses that the Thunder do tend to have out there, if you're a pretty good big that can rebound, we have been able to get killed on the glass, even with Hartenstein being there, even with having Chet back. Edey, if he keeps himself out of foul trouble and that little floater stuff that Hartenstein likes to get to, I can see some blocks being right there for Edey. 6K really has been at least playing over 25 minutes so far in this last bit of run, but the rebounding, the double potential, the offensive putbacks that he's able to get, that has really been a big driving force for him. And I like him here to go ahead and get us a good floor of about 30-35 fantasy points here. So I don't mind him at that 6K. Really do like getting to him. And then Scottie Pippen Jr., I would imagine that he should probably, and Shai's not a lax on defense, but he should have Shai on the defensive side of things when it comes down to it. I could see them trying to put Shai on him right there. But secondary scorer, can knock down some threes. And one of the things that the Thunder, that we do give up the most threes, especially from the corner. So if Scottie Pippen hides himself in the corner, he's a very much more improved three-point shooter over the last couple seasons. I could see him definitely getting being able to rattle off some threes, things of that nature. 4,900, good value. I know he can play make a bit if it comes down to it. Can play some defense. Will be out there for a majority of the game. So I do like his upside for Scottie Pippen at the 4,900. I feel like he's a safe-ish floor to get us about 20, 25-ish fantasy points, and I don't mind that, especially with the studs that I want to run back on the other side and things of that nature. Speaking of three-point shooting, Jaren Jackson Jr. would be my other dark horse over here for them in regards to getting hot from three, being able to knock down the shots, especially coming from the corner. Him and Santi, I could definitely see that for either one of those guys. But main plays that I really want to get to would be Zach Edey and Scottie Pippen Jr. Really do like both those guys. I think they're decent values over here. Outside of that, GPP, Bane, Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. If I had to rank those three, Jaren Jackson, John Morant, Desmond Bane, that would be the order right there. And then, of course, off the bench, you can mess with Santi. You can mess with Luke Kennard, not Luke Kennard, John Conchard. Sorry about that. Going on over to the Thunder side, Shai, I'm going to be very honest. Shai is one of my studs that I'm looking to get to on today. Playoff atmosphere, the guy averages practically 32 points a game. I feel like it's a safe floor. The ball will be in his hands. The playmaking duties, he will go ahead and do that. I understand Shai is a score-first type guard, but getting the rest of the team involved, things of that nature, he does do that. And he can go out there and definitely do that on the whim. I know that he can give me some defensive stats if it's needed, but game one, out of everybody who I don't feel like I have to worry about in regards to getting into rhythm, a flow, or worrying about any rust or anything, I don't feel like I have to worry about that with Shai. So definitely 10-9. I don't hate that at all. Possibly could be one of the lower owned studs. He has dropped at least 50 fantasy points in all 4 games that he has going up against Memphis on the season. So I like him for a safe floor out there for me to get me at least 50. And so especially at that 10-9 price tag, I like it. The upside is definitely going to be there for him. So that's literally where I'm gravitating to. Outside of that, Hartenstein and Chet, both these guys, just the bigs that they run out here for Memphis, it's kind of almost going to be like the AD situation where AD was like, yo, we need you out here because Zach Edey is tearing our asses up. So Hartenstein, that's what I said. I feel like they are going to run the double big line. Hartenstein should be out there, and I do like him. He actually, I don't know what it is about Memphis, but he has played Memphis very well on the season. He's had 37, 40, 41, and 46 fantasy points in all 4 games going up against him on the season. I do like the upside for iHeart. Definitely do think if you want to go with safety, just because I do believe he starts, Hartenstein over Chet would be the way that I would go, especially because we do know that he can stuff the stat sheet in all areas. He will rebound. He's a decent rebounder, but it's the playmaking that he actually can give, and the fact that that little floater that he likes to get to, that is another shot that's just been bread and butter, and it's worked for him. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't mind getting up to iHeart. If you don't want to play Edey, you want to get the safety of going up to iHeart, which I feel like Edey is just pretty safe in regards to what he's going to give us in the upside. You definitely can still mess with iHeart at the 6,800 price tag. That's pretty good. And then Chet will be more of the GP option. Outside of that, Lou Dort, the defense that he's going to be running around 4,300, it's not bad. You could definitely mess with going there, but when it comes down to like offensive upside, I think that I would rather probably get, if I'm coming down into this 4K range, Isaiah Joe. I know he's going to be coming in. He's going to be out there primarily to knock down some threes, give us some good buckets right there. I'd rather just go ahead and come down to Isaiah Joe 3,700 if I'm going to mess with coming down here to this price. I understand Dort's going to play is probably matching the minutes of Ja. That's not bad, especially if Dort goes ahead and knocks down some rainbow threes. He's feeling it early. He'll be pretty good. I don't hate it. Definitely would be a decent play you can go to. I'm going to hold out on trying to play Wiggins just until I can see the rotation between Wiggins, Alex Caruso, Case, and Wallace. I want to see exactly what the feel is going to be in regards to their minutes coming in here. If these guys are going to be roughly playing right around 20-ish minutes, then definitely that's going to be more of an upside to me. And of course, it's going to be like, okay, which one of these guys is going to make it for the value that we're going to be looking to. So for those three guys right now, between Wiggins, Wallace, Caruso, I'm not too necessarily keen on trying to get to any of them. The wild horse, the wild play that you can mess with, that probably will be lower on, just because you do have the Evan Mobley's on today's slate, the Paolo, the Franz Wagner, Amen Thompson, would be Jalen Williams. Of course, he's the 1B to Shea, and we've seen spurts of him being able to have big games, spurts of him being able to go out here and just give us something big. But versus Memphis on the season, not bad. 45, 44, and 44 fantasy points in 3 out of the 4 games. You can definitely mess with it, 8,200, but I will say there's just some other spots that I feel like we can attack. I got Jimmy Butler on the slate that I would honestly right around the same ballpark in regards to price. I'd rather get to who's going to be it's it's playoff Jimmy Butler. I got Draymond Green that's going to be a little bit cheaper there that I can get to, that's playoff Draymond Green and things of that nature. So if I got to pay up, it's going to be going all the way up to Shea. If I got to pay down, definitely would rather look towards the Isaiah Hartenstein, the Isaiah Joe, maybe a sprinkle Alex Caruso, because I feel like that's what we brought him here for, that I can mess with. But Shea would be the safest play that I really do feel like over here. Everyone else would be all just GPP options when it comes down to it in my eyes. Any questions from that first game, drop them in the comment section. I will double back after I go ahead and I cover Orlando for you guys. So drop it in the comment section if you guys got anything that you got for that one right there. Orlando taking on Boston. This is just like, Orlando actually matches up to me in my eyes decently going up against Boston. And I mean, they won what I think 2 out of the 4 games that they played going up against Boston on the season. So it's not like I imagine that this will be a flop of a game. I will say, yeah, they won 2 out of the 3 games. If I'm reading this right. Yeah, they won 2 out of the 3 games going up against Boston on the season. So it's not like this is just like a shoe-in, yo, Boston's about to sweep them. Granted, playoff Boston, it could be completely a whole different ballpark and story for them. Now, looking at this right here, to me, Orlando versus Boston, I imagine will probably be the lower of the lowest owned games on today's slate. If we want to get different on today, it's a 205 total, the lowest total on the slate. You find the right diamond in the rough, which I imagine my main value play that I want to get from over here is probably going to be chalk. People are probably going to be flocking to it, I would imagine so. But I don't mind it, because I'm gonna be very honest. I'm gonna be very critical of myself. I like to tend to of course play plays almost in every game. Like that's typically how I roll, especially when it comes to like the New Year's or the Christmas games. I try to get a play from every game, and that's something I try to break, because like if you don't see it, don't force it. You don't have to force it. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't mind getting to a couple pieces in here if you could fit them, just because again, it's the playoffs. Anything goes, and if you can find the right pieces from over here, promise you will more than likely separate yourself from everyone else over here. On the Atlanta side of things, we already know it starts with Paolo, it starts with Franz, both of these guys. Franz only played 1 out of the 3 games going up against Boston on the season. And the one game that he played, which they also won that game, he dropped 40 fantasy points in 26 minutes, 23 actual points, 8 rebounds. In that game, Paolo did play in that game, so don't think Paolo did not play. But I will admit, in the 2 games that Paolo played out of the 3, he was held pretty much in check. In those games, he played 29 minutes in both of those games. One was a loss and one was a win, and he dropped exactly 31 and 29 fantasy points in those 2 games. So 9,200, 8,200. That is your choice that you got to make right there. I would much rather mess with the Franz Wagner dealing with Jaylen Brown defense than Paolo dealing with Tatum, because I do think Tatum is actually a very good defender, and I don't hate it. But you can definitely go there. Wendell Carter Jr., I don't see myself getting there, because you're going to be trying not to foul or deal with KP, and that's not the easiest feat in the world. I'm not going to go there. Of course, the spot that I've always attacked Boston throughout the year was with the guards. Opposing guards has always been where I've attacked them. And so that's why, to me, Anthony Black, Cole Anthony, Corey Joseph, he's going to start, but we have seen it time and time again. They're going to start him. They're going to play him maybe 15-ish minutes so far, especially with Cole Anthony looking like he's healthy and he's back. And it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden Cole Anthony can be in the starting lineup, but I do think they like the punch he brings off the bench. And that's why I like coming down here to Cole at 4,400. I think that's a nice, cheap, easy value play that you can get to go going up against Boston. And when you look at it, in the 3 games that he played versus Boston, 1 game he started, 17 minutes, 17 fantasy points, 31 minutes, 33 fantasy points, 22 minutes, 34 fantasy points. He's played well versus Boston, especially if that 3 ball is falling and going for him. this could be a good spot for him to be able to go out here and give us some good fantasy point production and upside. So I do like going to Cole Anthony over here in the spot. Of course, you can come down here and mess with the Anthony Black, 4,300. He's been playing the minutes, playing the role, looking very confident out there in the games going up against Boston. He's played very well himself as well. All of them off of the bench with 20, 24, and 21 fantasy points. So either one of these guys, I think they make for decent value options to get you some exposure to this game where you're not trying to focus and force a stud like Paulo and France in there. Now, GPP options, definitely Paulo and France, I imagine, and I'm very sure looking at projected ownership that I can see right now, I got them both. France at 10%, Paulo right now is at 15. So the ownership is looking pretty low for him. And yes, it's a 4-game slate. So definitely we can mess with that. Get over there to either one of those guys. On the Boston side of things, Tatum, I'm not even going to have to talk Tatum. You guys already know Tatum's Tatum. Playoff ball, he played in 1 out of the 3 games versus Orlando. In that 1 game, he played 35 minutes, dropped 51 fantasy points. And that was the game that they actually won versus Orlando too, by the way. Outside of that, Jaylen Brown, he's been dealing with some injections and stuff, so I'm probably going to hold off on Jaylen Brown. Definitely kind of in the same boat as John Morant. Makes for a good GPP option because I'm imagine his ownership will probably be at the floor, sub 10% ownership, I can imagine. It's like ownership should just be so low in this whole game for everybody. Like, I really just see it being that. But definitely I can mess with plays like Chris Porzingis, 7,900. Derek White, both those guys, 7,972. Only thing, as long as Orlando can keep it close. Right now, the spread in this game, which not a bad spread, is 14. Sitting at 14, of course, favored in Boston. I think the spread is wrong. I really do think Orlando, like they've shown it, they can keep this game close. And I do believe this game will be close. I don't see it being just a shoe-in straight up for Orlando to go out here and just shit the bed. You know, they made it. They played pretty well. Outside of that, Drew Holiday, of course, is always typically low owned, 5,700. We could definitely mess with there. Playoff Drew should be Drew that we actually want to get to. The price difference between him dropping all the way down from Derek White is huge. It's exponential and definitely would make him for a pretty good value option to play. Outside of that, everyone else over here for Boston, Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford, Luke Kennard, Sam Hauser, all those guys would be just GPP options. I would focus primarily on the main guys, of course, until we get a feel and see how these first games shake out, get some ideas of rotation, things like that. I'm not going to force anything or jump the gun over there for anything for them. Miami taking on Cleveland. Do we got any questions? Nope, no questions. All right, sweet. We keep this rolling. Miami taking on Cleveland. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I do think that Miami actually matches up very well versus Cleveland. Like, they actually match up. Tyler Hero being able to go out there and defend Darius Garland. A short guard, both of these guys. I think that Hero should be fine being able to go out there. Davion Mitchell is, once again, now granted, OT did save us on the Davion Mitchell. It really did save us because Davion was shooting like shit. But took over mainly in that fourth quarter going into OT. Davion was clicking and he definitely saved our asses right there. But once again, Davion should be out there playing these minutes. He should be out there on the floor because they are going to need him. His defense, that point of attack defense, like I said, Alec Burke is starting, but Davion is still going to play eclipsing 30 minutes out there. He should, which, I mean, he's shown us time and time again, like, the kid ain't no joke. And the game's going up against Cleveland. He started in 1 game going up against it back in March. He played 26 minutes, dropped 22 fantasy points in that game. And let me see, did they win that game? Nope, they actually got swept versus Cleveland. They lost every single game. But I do like Davion, just what he brings on the defensive side of the ball, and also the fact of he can go out there and play, get us those assists and things of that nature. So I don't mind him, of course, at that 5K range. Now, when it comes down to the studs, main guys over here, once again, Tyler Hero, I imagine he's going to be sub 10% ownership. Definitely makes for a good GPP option. 8,400. That is not bad at all, especially if that shot is falling. Looking pretty good, confident. Got a little shaky to start out there versus the Hawks, but he got it going. He's dropped 53 and 42 fantasy points versus Cleveland on the year. I would imagine like he should be dealing with Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell defense, either one of those guys. I'm not worried about them. They're not lockdown defenders or anything that I necessarily have to worry about or fray over there. But I will say the main two guys I don't want to look to over here on Miami, Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins. I like the upside for both these guys over here. Starting out with Bam going up against Cleveland. He's dropped 45, 38, 62 fantasy points versus Cleveland. I think he matches up pretty well going up against Evan Mobley. It's going to be, are you going to get Evan Mobley into foul trouble, or are you just going to be able to play your game and do what you got to do out there? We're seeing pretty much a good locked in Bam. I like the upside, especially if he's able to go out there and get us some rebounds, which he should be able to because they are kind of limiting Khalil Ware's minutes. out there. He's only played roughly what 20ish, 22, 25ish minutes over these last couple games, especially going into the play-in and stuff like that. And Bam is playing some of that center role out there, which we know Bam typically is a center. So I do like the upside for Bam. 8,700 makes for a really great play. They are going to need his scoring. They're going to need him out there on defensive glass, the defense that he can actually bring, all those things. Like the upside, especially if he can go out there and get me another like 3-ish block game, that'll be great for him. But I love the upside, especially double upside for Bam. Outside of Bam, Andrew Wiggins, the second key factor over there. Now, I would imagine with Andrew Wiggins being over here, Max Strus is going to start the game, but I see DeAndre Hunter getting a ton of run, and that is why they brought DeAndre Hunter over there, was to be able to have him out there for another key defensive player. But Andrew Wiggins, 7,100, has played well so far in the 2 playing games that they had out there, 41 and 45 fantasy points, and he's a vet. He's got the experience. He's played over there for the Golden State Warriors during their playoff runs and things like that. So I do like the upside for Wiggins, 7,100. Don't hate that at all. It makes for a really great play. Outside of that, I am not going to force myself to try to go out and chase the Highsmith, a big game that he had last time. 3,900, definitely you can take it as a GPP option. Same thing for Duncan Robinson. One of these guys, they're going to get some weird ass 25-ish minutes, go out there and just pop off and be able to do something. But I'm not gonna guess it. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the safety because I'm playing a single entry lineup. I don't have to get super cute on a single entry lineup. I really don't. I don't. Going on over here to the Cleveland side of things. Of course, Donovan Mitchell is playoff basketball. Donnie, 8,500. You can definitely mess with that if you want to. Evan Mobley, not bad. You can take it if you want to. But all 3 of the main key guys over here for Cleveland, you can mess with them. I will say Jared Allen, 6,100. I like the price. I like the spot. Definitely think that he can go overlooked and under-owned. Don't mind getting to Allen right there. I definitely think that he makes for interesting play. Both of the Cleveland guards, of course, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, both of them are in play to me. I like the upside for them both. I will say that I already kind of alluded to it, DeAndre Hunter. I think that he's going to get a good chunk of minutes right here, and I do like the upside for him. At that 4,900 price tag, just for the fact of he should be out there, especially for his defensive upside and the scoring that he actually can bring, the rebounding that he brings as well. I like it. Max Strus, I'm not going to stray away from him because he is facing his former team. He's at least dropped 20 fantasy points in the games going up against them on the season, and I do like the upside, especially if that 3-ball is falling for him. This could be a really great spot. Looking at it on the flip side of Miami, I would imagine that he should be having to deal with Andrew Wiggins' defense just from the way that they match up to start, or we could see Wiggins on Donovan Mitchell to start until they actually go ahead and input Davion, and I would imagine probably Alex Burke could be on Strus. So I still do like the upside for Strus either way. He's a sneaky good rebounder when it comes down to it. So definitely not someone that's going to go out there and get us a 0, but could be in the realm of like a 15, 20-ish fantasy point type game. If he gets us anything north of that, that's just like a plus and a bonus. At 4K, I definitely will take that. Everyone else over here, I'm not too keen and interested in messing with them or going to any of those right there. Are you going to create a lineup at the end of this? Yeah, I can. I definitely can. I can give you if you want a safe lineup or if you want GPP, we go with like some ownership. Look like that. I can make a stack using the Orlando and Boston game, and I'm trying to focus on guys over there. Just something that could be lower owned that could definitely just pop. Or I can go with give you like some of the key guys that I'm definitely focusing on. I already gave you one. SGA is like one of my main studs that I'm looking to get to. His safety, his 50, locking that in right there for him, and building around that is what I'm doing already for the day. We got almost an hour-ish before the slate starts. Give me 1 second. 1 second. My wife just texted me. All right, Golden State Warriors taking on the Houston Rockets. From the Warriors, I mean, do we have to just necessarily talk about it? Steph Curry is going to be Steph Curry. Steph Curry, I would imagine, should go out here and do some ungodly things to the Houston Rockets. And I'm not going to sleep on the Houston Rockets. I do think the Rockets can come out here and win this game. I do. They've done pretty well trying to defend Curry throughout the season. In that last game that they played going up against Curry, they pretty much were like blitzing him and playing some very physical defense. I would imagine we are going to see much of the same thing here in this spot again. So if you feel like, okay, hey, Curry's going to be trapped, he's going to be all this, that, and the third, I would imagine that if Curry is smart, he's figured out some way to be able to get Curry open, free to in this game. Like Kerr would be overrated to me if he doesn't figure out how the hell to use your best player on the team. With that being said, Jimmy Butler, 8,300. This is playoff ball. This is playoff Jimmy. I love the upside for everything that Jimmy should be able to bring. If you're doubling, you're trapping Curry, then Jimmy is, of course, going to be the second driving force out there for them. Love the upside looking to Jimmy Butler. Someone who played very well in their games going up against him, at least in the last two games that he did play versus them in 30-plus minutes, was Podominski. I like him as a nice value play. 5K is actually, I'm surprised at how cheap he is at that 5K range. I do like the upside for him. I understand 28 minutes versus Memphis. He shot poorly, 1 of 7, 1 of 5. I'm not going to hold that against him because the kid is going to be you're doubling, you're trapping Curry. Knock down those 3-point shots like what you were doing before. Knock him down. Give me something good. Versus Houston in 31 minutes, 7 of 14 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 34.5 fantasy points. If we're going to see much of the same defensive scheme, that is going to be some open shots for Pod to be able to go out there and make. I do like the upside, especially at 5K. That lets me get a piece of the late night hammer from the Golden State Warriors and gives me some upside. Same thing for Draymond Green at 5,800. He's going to be out there unless he gets ejected or, he just fucks up and he fouls out or something of the sort. Fouled out versus Memphis, but honestly, didn't matter. Played 31 minutes, gave us 34 fantasy points. I think that he's safe for 30 fantasy points. Like, that's the floor that I'm going to give him. Granted, going up against Houston, 27 minutes, he only gave us 9.75. I'm not going to be scared or worried about that. This is going to be a completely different ball game out here for him. Hopefully, y'all figure out how the hell to get Curry open. Because a lot of his assists, of course, come to just being able to play that dribble handoff and things like that with Curry. But Draymond Green, I like the upside. Everyone can be scared of going in that direction. I definitely will go ahead and flock towards Draymond. Lets me get a piece of one of the main key players and pieces from the Warriors that should be very heavily and keenly involved with them if they're going to be able to go out here and win this game. Outside of that, value plays that we can look to over here from the Warriors. Of course, we can look towards Moses Moody, 4,100. We know that he's going to be out there, probably going to start. If he can slowly get it rolling and going, he will be a decent play. Gary Payton, he should be able to go out here. Kerr, for whatever reason, loves playing his Gary Payton. 20 minutes versus the Houston Rockets, 32.25 fantasy points. I am not going to chase it, but I do like him for a decent value option play that we can get to over there for them. Versus Houston, he only played 14 minutes, gives 11.25 fantasy points. So either one of those guys in play, right now, looking at it, because if game log watches, oh yeah, Gary Payton, 3,400, he fucking killed it. I would imagine Payton's ownership, matter of fact, I'm imagining. Right now, looking at Gary Payton, ownership is more than Moses Moody. Literally, I'm looking at it right now. I would take Moses Moody just for the ownership upside. Now, value, definitely, I will see Payton. He is going to play the bench. He's going to be out there. Houston Rockets on their side, Shango, 8,800. I can mess with that. Amen Thompson, keep your hands to yourself. Don't go out there and foul too much. You should be pretty good in this spot. Dylan Sneaky Weird Brooks. I will not be surprised if Dylan Brooks comes out here and he just gives us a game for the ages, and it's just like, bro, why the fuck didn't I play Dylan Brooks? But Dylan Brooks, 4,700, like it, don't mind getting there to him. I definitely can see myself going there in that realm. I mean, he's going to be out there. The defense that he brings, the intensity, all the playoff field. We know he's going to chuck up a couple of threes. I would take Dylan Brooks actually for at least 2 threes made. Like, I would take him for 2 threes made. 2 threes and maybe give him a floor of, like, if you want to get risky, 10 points. Like, just at least 2 threes though. At least 2 threes. I can see myself taking that. Outside of that, I really don't like too much over here from the Houston side besides Shango taking a flyer on Dylan Brooks and Amen Thompson just because he's going to be out there. Hopefully he doesn't foul out trying to guard Jim Butler or anything of the sort. But Jalen Green, GPP option, I think they should be able to do a decent job on him. Freddie V, it's playoff ball. He's got the experience. I can see myself going there, but I really kind of just like the value plays, especially from the Golden State Warriors side. I'm not too keen on trying to force something from Houston. Nothing really just pops out and sticks out for me over here. Don't play a Cam Whitmore or any of those guys. Tari Eason would be your safer play if you want to play anything off the bench or anything over there for them. That's where we go. But all right, looking at it, didn't get too many questions, so I'm going to go ahead and give a quick build in regards to, let's see, do we want to go safety? All right, tell you what, I'm going to give you guys a play from each bracket range that I like in regards to my value, my mid-tier, and my studs. Go from there in regards to it. For us. So value is what I typically go 5,500 and below is what I consider value on slates. And looking at it, everyone over here on the slate, let's go to all. Coming down here to the 5,500 range. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so Tari Eason, Wendell Carter Jr., Davion Mitchell, Podomensky, both these guys, not bad. If you want to make a GPP option and pivot right here, I would imagine Pod probably will be higher owned than Davion Mitchell, if I'm going to be very honest. Like, Pod will more than likely be higher owned, so you definitely could make the pivot and go with Davion over Podomensky. But if I'm going with safety and just the upside that I do believe will be there, I definitely will go with Podomensky. Is who I actually like when it comes down to it over there. Some other values that I'm really key on, in which I talked about it if you paid attention earlier, DeAndre Hunter, I like his upside. Scottie Pippen Jr., he's going to start 4,900. I like the upside for him as well. Dylan Brooks, he's more on the GPP side, but I definitely can mess with there. Cole Anthony is, to me, a safe value play that you can get to. 4,400, I do believe he is going to play at least 25 minutes out there on the court, and he's played Boston very well. I do actually like Cole Anthony, which I'm actually going to go ahead and just slide him in here. Cole Anthony, I'll give you guys two that I really do like over there. Hopefully, I'm not about to give away like my actual full lineup in regards to what I'm looking at on today's slate for you guys. All right, so going on up to the mid-tier option, the mid-tier range, of course, this is going to be 5,500 up to the 8K, 8.5 range for me. Looking at it, I like the upside for Isaiah Hartenstein. I really don't mind going to him right there. Like, that actually kind of is sticking out to me when it comes down to it. But out of everybody in this range, when we're looking at it, Draymond Green at that 5,800 price tag really is sticking out to me. I don't understand the price. I would imagine he should have been up in the 6K range. I like the upside for him. Jared Allen would definitely be a safe play. And I already talked about Zach Edey. I really do like it. I'm actually going to go ahead and plug Zach Edey in. If you want to get different, come off of Zach Edey, go to Isaiah Hartenstein, or come off of Zach Edey, go to Jared Allen, drop down to Draymond Green. Either one of those guys would be nice pivots that you can mess with and go to right there. And then outside of that, let's mess with Darius Garland. Let's mess with the Garland. Or actually, do I want to go with Andrew Wiggins? Zach Edey for sure for one, and then you know what? Because I might be able to pay it for two studs. We'll go with Draymond Green. We'll go with Draymond Green. We will go with Draymond Green. Honestly, feel like I just gave you guys like a decent path to start building right there with that. And then coming down to it, looking at it at the studs, it's just going to be everyone else up here. You guys already know I talked about it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I love him for the spot. I definitely will be going right there. That leaves you with 5,900 to build out the rest of your lineup right there. And all honesty, I probably just gave you my actual core for today when I look at it on today's slate. I'm very high on Pod, very high on Cole Anthony. Like both those guys straight up. Cole, another thing, too. When it comes down to building, I try to stick to maybe one to two players off of the bench, 1 to 2 players off the bench. At most two. And those two players, they have to be at least averaging 20 minutes for me to want to play them off of the bench. Like, that's just straight up safety. Again, I'm a single entry player. That is what I play when it comes down to it. So right now, Cole Anthony being in my line, he's safe. He is a safe play. I feel like that's exactly what I'm going to roll with. That's what I'm going to go to. So that would be it right there for me when it comes down to it to start out. But I would check and just see if there's anyone else that meets the mold that I want to get to. But any other questions, go ahead and drop them. I'm going to keep my eye out for it, but I'm going to do something in the background. All right, I'm back. All right. All right. So I don't see any other questions, things like that. I actually am gonna still, if anyone is still watching, I'm gonna give you guys a GPP build that I definitely think you can mess with. Instead of going up here to Shea, you mess with the Jason Tatum. You run Jason Tatum back with like a Franz Wagner to go ahead and get double exposure from that game right there. I do like the upside for Darius Garland would be definitely something that I can mess with. Come down here. Honestly, bro, yep. Take Davion Mitchell instead of taking what's his name? Let's move these two around. I hate when DraftKings actually does that. Small forward, I want you to put Franz into the small forward. Power forward, I want you to give me Tatum. Each with 4,900. You can actually slide Draymond Green in right there. And Garland, this also is stupid because Davion, yes, he comes in, he can play the point, but he can also double as a shooting guard. I wish they would give us that option for him as well. But it's not a bad start right there. Definitely let you go ahead and get some value. You can go with my boy. This will be where I have two bench players, but definitely can mess with Cole Anthony again right here. Makes for a decent option that you can go to that lets you get some value where you're messing around more into the 5K range again right there as well. Possibly can go ahead and get, well, no, not possibly. You can get up to Draymond Green with this build right there. And then it's just picking and choosing in regards to where you want to go for the end and for the rest. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully, guys, were able to get something from this. Going to be back again, hopefully, to be able to break down the next slate. Going to go ahead and get my content and stuff posted up. We did hit a banger, which, I don't know, did I show it on here? We did hit a banger for a parlay. 25 bucks turning into 1K over there on Hard Rock. I'm gonna hopefully be able to repeat that again. Gonna drop another one and see what's proper ownership for a single entry. Proper ownership, throw ownership out the window when it comes down for a single entry. Now, when you say ownership, you're talking about ownership for the players, right? Not as in ownership in regards to you know, like what you're building in your line, how many players you have from a team, or nothing like that, right? So if you're saying ownership for like in regards to the players and stuff like that, ownership to me does not necessarily matter as much in single entry. It does not matter as much in single entry as it would whenever you're making multiple GPPs. What comes down to it is that you can make a pivot off of a play. So like one of the prime examples that I gave was Podominski and Davion Mitchell are both priced right at the same. They're both priced at, go to all. They're both priced at 5K. By looking at that, look at the ownership. Davion Mitchell might be what, 20% owned compared to Podominski, who's a starter. He's going to start, has a more offensive bag than what Davion Mitchell has currently right now. Pretty much a nice, good key role besides just playing defense for his team over there in Pod. Pod will probably be about 45, close to 50% owned. So this is where it comes down to is like, okay, do I want to make a ownership pivot and come down to the lower owned play and hope that he will be able to outscore what Podominski is going to do? Because then what's going to happen where you have a 20% player going up against a 50% player, you're going to be able to jump 30% of the field pretty much in regards to whoever played Podominski over Davion. The ownership to me does not matter when it comes down to it in single entry. It just matters in regards to, is it a good play? Is it a good play? Is it not too risky? Is it not too out of the box? That's what it really just comes down to it when you're looking at ownership and stuff like that. That's I don't feel like ownership plays that heavy key of a role like that, unless you're of course trying to completely just take down some shit and just go super crazy. Now, I mean, when ownership, you're looking at something that's like Draymond Green is priced at 5,800, but he's projected for like 18% ownership. When it's like, yo, he should be closer to 40%. Like, what the hell? What is the field seeing? Then yeah, it's like, okay, cool. I have an ownership leverage that I can play right here because Draymond's at 5,800 while Jared Allen is at 6,100, but everyone is flocking to the Jared Allen at 50. But I think Draymond Green has a much better matchup. Yeah, that's a really great ownership pivot that you can get right there. Money left over. So in all honesty, when you're building out your stuff, if you have like 800 left over, that's not bad. That is truly where you set yourself different, because just like the question that you're asking me right now, when people see that they got 800 left over, 900 left over, they're trying to figure out, okay, oh shit, I got way too much money left over here left in my line. I fucked up somewhere. Nah, you might have just really sniped some plays where it's like, okay, this is gonna make you different. That's what makes you different, because a lot of people try to spend all that, what, 50,000 that we get, all the 50,000 that we get to build a line. Everyone tries to spend that whole 50K to make a lineup. They do. And that's kind of where it fucks people up. Now, if you got 1,500 left over, I'm gonna go back and be like, all right, let me get under 1K. Let me get under 1K, 900. I'm okay with, especially when it comes down to it. Especially like the slates like today, where it's broken up with different time zones. You can go back and, okay, hey, cool, I played Davion. Well, not Davion. Yeah, I got Davion Mitchell going inside this game. All right, now Cole Anthony, he busted for me. I played Cole Anthony, he busted. Davion Mitchell's right here. Let me move some shit around real quick. Maybe I can get up to Fred VanVleet or Draymond Green instead, if you don't have Draymond Green in your line already, or something like that. Like, that's where that extra money that you have left over can come into handy for if you need to make pivots. But I'd say 900 and below would be okay money left over. If you got anything of north of 1K, rethink your line a little bit, unless it's like some ungodly forever like just crazy mispriced player that you're playing right now. Like, freaking, if they somehow Shea is sitting at 7,500, yeah, that's a no questions asked. You play that, and if I'm left with 2K left over but my line looks good, I'm gonna play that. But yeah, nah. All right, guys, I got some couple stuff that I got to do before I go ahead and solidify everything for the slate. Good luck to everybody. Happy Easter for those that do celebrate and everything. Don't eat too many deviled eggs and whatnot. And yeah, let's cash out.